It is time once again to cover the weekly closes of our favorite Bitcoin miners. We're also going to look at a trade that I am getting ready for in the coming days or weeks near the end, so stick around for that. But before we get going, we have YouTube memberships now on TradeCave. We've got 3 different levels. We've got Soda Straw, Stalactite, and Stalagmite. Soda Straw is the entry level one where you get the badges and the emojis here, these that you can use in the chat and in the comments section. We've got Stalactite where you get that plus member shout outs. It's just a little bit more for that. And then the big boy, Stalagmite, this is going to get you real-time trade posts. Basically, the moment I make a trade, I will post it for the Stalagmite members. And I'm also going to do members shorts about those trades as to why I'm taking them, but my rationale behind them. All right. And then also check out Capital Curiosities. That one's not going to cost you anything. Go over there, check out their videos. They do financial fraudster videos. They've got one coming out tomorrow about Barry Minkow. He was a teenager in the 80s that took Wall Street for a $280 million ride. Very interesting story there. And if you go to Capital Curiosities from TradeCave, go ahead and comment TC on the video so they know where you came from. That'd be very helpful for me, and I would greatly appreciate that. Anyways, let's move into the weekly closes. All right, Clean Spark. This is where we're starting. We're starting with the Clean Spark, the spark of clean. All right, so we are still working on this inverted head and shoulders here, where we've got this arm, shoulder, head, and we're working on this shoulder now. We got to break above, honestly, $11 to get that shoulder done. And once we do that, we could move all the way back up to 1566, which is this big old volume gap on the right here. Let me delete this and draw that in, which is this big old volume gap on the left there. We got to fill that gap there. You can see it, that big open space I'm trying to shade in all grossly like. Right there, that's where we're trying to fill in, right there. And once we get above that $11, there's really nothing in our way of doing that, okay? Let me turn off the drawings for a second. You can see it right there. Nothing in the way of filling that in once we get above that 200-week moving average. And we're inching closer and closer. We took a stab at it a couple days ago, or a couple weeks ago. It looks like we might be rearing up to do one more stab at it here. Usually you do it, once, twice, thrice, and break through it. So we'll see if the second time we break through or if we need a third go at it. You'll notice that I've got the MACD at the bottom here. That's because I've been working on a new indicator. Let me put it on real quick. It's not perfected yet. I'm still working on it. But basically I'm trying to, create a bit of a strategy that uses the equilibrium price from the volume profile on different time frames. And I'm trying to capture the cross of that and see if I can't get a solid signal. Like you can see here, like this right now, it's doing decent, like the cross up there, boom, up. We had a cross up back here on April 14th, boom, went up. We had a cross down back here on December, and that went down pretty dramatically. Then up here, we had all this noise, which was pretty bad. Yeah, I'm trying to work on that. I'll tell you more about that as it develops, but it's nowhere near ready, so we're gonna go ahead and just turn that off. That's why I got my MACD up there right now. I've been working on some stuff. Yeah, so right now, Clean Spark, what we're looking for, we really want to see it stay above 832. 832 is kind of our line in the sand. If we lose 832, we do have room to wick down to this white line right here, the dotted line, which is currently for next week going to be about at 770. Like that's the ultimate, like this is bad. If it doesn't reverse immediately, we are looking to cut Clean Spark because it is going to become catastrophic very quickly. So that's what I'm looking at. 832 is sort of that shot across the bow saying we're going to hit that line. So if we lose 832, we are going to go to 770. If we lose 770, then I am officially afraid. Okay, I'm going to delete this yellow line right here because this one is no longer, we conquered that one. We don't need it anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that line. We are still in this upward channel, so I'm going to leave that. The 2 lines that are most in play right now, the 2 lines that are most in play are this yellow one up here and this white dotted one down here. Those are the 2 lines. The yellow one for next week is up at 1212. If we can conquer this, like if we can get something going like this with Clean Spark, where we come above it, touch it from above, maybe at this control point over here on the far right, you can see it on the volume profile. That's like a little line that sticks out further than the rest. We get a little tap from above and then do something like that. That would be pretty great. Like you can see right here on the volume profile, right around like 950 to like 1050, we got that little poke out, the little pokey bit out on the volume profile. That's showing that there's a lot of shares traded at that level. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it go over it and then come back, test it from above, and then launch from there. I'm looking for something like that out of CleanSpark, and that's what that yellow line is going to represent for me, that area where I want to see it break out of and retest, and then boom, launch, and then I know it's ready to launch. Versus maybe down here we could come down if we lose this white line, which we kind of lost a little bit, but like it stayed on it. If we close and open a candle completely beneath this white line, well, then that's about to become catastrophic, and I'd say we're going back to $3 basically for CleanSpark. Anyways, that's all I got for CleanSpark. Let's look at the warrants really fast here. Why aren't I loading? There we go. Let me turn off some drawings here because that's a lot. All right, here we go. All right, what is that blue one again? I don't know what that blue one is. What is that blue one? Is that the 21? Yeah, it's the 21. All right, 21 week is showing up. All right, cool. All right, on the weekly here, you can see we've been just barcoding between that level that I mentioned, between that 56 and 41 cents here. We've just been barcoding between it. Basically, if we lose that 41 cent level, like lose it, and we close a weekly candle down here underneath the 41 cent, we're going down to 31 cents. Basically, is what's going to happen there. That's going to be the, oh, we're about to do a decent drop sort of scenario. If we get above 56 and we close above 56, well, then we're heading to 72. That's basically all there is to it on the chart right now. We're watching for either a break of 56 cents up to the upside to go higher, or 41 cents to drop another 10 cents, which will be pretty traumatic on a 40-cent stock. So, like, yeah, that would suck. But we are seeing some interesting, this is looking like a bottoming pattern down here. This right here is looking like a bottoming pattern down here. I'll turn off the drawings for a second so you can see where I circled. Like, there it is. That is a bottoming pattern. We came up and we're getting a flag-like pattern here, right there. You can see where it is, and then we'll turn off the drawings so you can see how that looks without the drawings. That flag pattern there, and you can see that the top of that flag really is that 56 cent area, which is right at the top of this one here. We start closing above that, and we're going to move into this resistance up here in this area right there. That's what we'll be doing in that scenario. Okay, so that's the CleanSpark warrants. Let's go look at Mara. We're also going to not cover a couple of these anymore, like CAN and Soluna. I'm not going to cover those anymore unless specifically asked to, because they're just garbage. And I know I'm in one of them, but I told you many times it was a lotto ticket. I wasn't expecting it. It was either hero or zero, and it looks like it chose zero. So hopefully nobody got too zealous with that one, because I was always saying it was a lotto ticket that I didn't really believe necessarily in it, but all it would take would be one hedge fund to say, oh, I think I like that, and then send it to Valhalla, which did not occur, at least not as of yet. I haven't sold it yet. I don't plan on selling it. I plan on holding it to zero, but yeah, that's it. I only put a very small amount of money into it. Anyways, let's move on here. Let's look at Mara. Mara is, I like and I don't like. So Mara has actually hit its 200-week moving average here. This is the third time it tapped it. So it didn't break. That's not good. That's not great. But we are on the MACD crossed up on it. The BX trender is still making higher highs this week, even though we came down 4.69%. The RSI is, floundering between 50 and 45. So this could be interesting here. I am seeing what looks like a flag right now here. And as soon as we bust up above the 200-week moving average, I think we're going to have a little bit of struggle up to about $18.83, maybe even up to $20, because you can see the volume profile over here is really jutted out over there. But once we get above that $20, it's really $20 for Mara. Once we get above $20, there's really not much in our way. Like we'll come up and we'll hit 24 and we'll slow down a little bit because of that volume there. And there's a lot of trapped traders right here. Here, I'll show you where all the trapped traders are. Actually, I'm going to draw a box. That'll be more appropriate for this one. We got a lot of trapped traders from 34 all the way down to, honestly, about 27. This is our danger box right there. So 27 to 34. There's a lot of trapped traders in these wicks here. lots of them, and they are waiting. Like there's going to be a struggle as soon as we hit 27. A lot of these guys are going to be selling. They're going to be like, oh, I'm nearly break even. I can sell it now, and my wife won't divorce me. That's basically what's going on there. And people are of that mindset. I've been guilty of being in that mindset before, but I believe that's a false mindset. That's just setting you up for failure, or at best case scenario break even, which is like, that's not why we do this. Don't be that guy. Buy low, sell high. Don't buy high, sell slightly lower than high. Like, don't do that. Stop it. Anyways, where did my drawing go? Oh no. Oh no. All right, I need that. There it is. Okay. We do have our inverted head and shoulders here on Mara as well. Came down, we made a shoulder, and then we made a head, and we're making a little shoulder right here. And once we break out above it, ooh, boy, yeah, we're going back up to that 27-ish to 29 level. And I do think we will at some point flash up to like the 35s, 36, maybe even a bit higher than 35 this time, to get all these buyers that are trapped in these wicks to buy back in again way higher than they sold when they thought they were near break even. That's what's got to happen. And it will happen at some point, likely. Right now, though, Mara's got to hold above $14. If we lose $14, we're coming down to this white line at 12. If we lose 12, we're going all the way back down to like 7. Right now, if we get above the 200-week moving average, we got to struggle up to about 20. 20 is really the pivot point for Mara. We get above 20, and then we're going to soar. All right, let's take a look at IREN. How's IREN doing? IREN's performing not bad. Like, we got to the top of this channel, and we might come down a bit. We might come down a bit. There was some RSI divergence in the daily. I'm seeing less of that here now on the weekly. The weekly does not have that divergence. The weekly, the RSI looks pretty healthy, but that does not mean that we're not going to have like a daily pullback for a few days before we go. The MACD, the MACD looks good. It crossed up a couple weeks ago. The BX trender is showing continued buying pressure coming through. RSI is above 50. I like all of those things. I did sell out of my IREN here early last week, and that was largely due to the one-day chart showing some divergence. You can see that we had a lower high on the RSI and a much higher high on price action. So I didn't like that. You can also see that we're about to cross down on the MACD on the daily, and also the BX trender is showing weaker and weaker buying pressure here. We also closed beneath, so we came up into this thick piece of volume here on the profile. You can see we came into that, and we entered the void again, which I'm looking at we could come back down to about $9 from. So that's why I got out of that. We have an inverted hammer near the top. We had a couple hammers at the top, and then like an inverted gravestone doji sort of hammerish candle down here at the top as well. All three of those are toppy candles. I don't like them. A bit of tweezers here the previous 2 days. So there's a lot of toppy candles right in this. Honestly, all of last week were toppy candles for IREN. So I'm not expecting like a full-on breakdown, but I am expecting maybe a move back down to like $9, maybe even $8.50 for a day or two potentially on IREN, and then a continuation from there. That's what I'm kind of expecting. Now, if it comes back up and it crushes $10.80, then I was wrong, and it's going to go higher, faster. So pay attention to that. This is the only one we went into the daily, so let's get back on track. So for that, yeah, we could go down to about 850-ish potentially, but if we cross over 1080, we're going higher. We're going to $13-14 on IREN, and that's just all there is to it, because we have crossed all the way through this descending channel. We dipped beneath it, and then that falling wedge took us all the way to the top of it. All the way to the top of it, which is about the area where I would expect it to start to get a little weaker. We did get a bit of a megaphone for about a couple of weeks there, and then like I would expect a little bit of weakness here, maybe fall a buck or two, come back into that structure, and then go higher. We'll see from there. Let's take a look at RIOT. RIOT also looking interesting here, looking a little better than its peers in terms of just the structure at all. We got 52 on the RSI. We've got a cross up on the MACD line. All we need to see is the MACD line get above 0, and RIOT's looking real good. We got the BX trender is showing continued buying pressure. We did come right up to the equilibrium basically on the weekly volume, and we failed there. So basically, the lower this goes, the easier it is for it to fall. So we really don't want to see RIOT fall any further, because you can see this volume profile on the right here is just sloping inward as we go further down. And we could easily, like the lower we go, the easier it is for it to fall all the way back down to $6. So We really need to see in a week or two this thing get above, was that 1042 or is that 11 something? 11 something. I'm surprised it's not on the chart. But $11. We really need to see it get above $11. And even once it gets above $11, 1158 is that 200-week moving average that it's got to conquer. So this is where it's struggled in the past. Basically, it gets to that 200-week and it goes up a bit more and then comes crashing down a bit more, crashing down a bit more, crashing down. This case, it just touched it and fell. And then over here, a bit more, and it held it for a bit, made you think it was going to go higher, and then came crashing down. So this is really the big boy. 1158 is like the danger zone for a RIOT. It has not been able to conquer that properly before since the previous cycle back in 2020. So 5 years, basically, since it's been able to conquer that properly. So we really need to see this thing slice through this. It needs to take out this high at $15.99, and then we know that it's going to go all the way up to about $21 from there. If not, if it continues on its current trajectory and we start losing buying pressure, this volume profile shows that it can just slip all the way back down to about $6. So pay attention to that. Let's take a look at Bit Digital. If you believe in Ethereum, Bit Digital should do well, but you can also just do ETH-U. I am not messing with Bit Digital any longer. I don't really see any benefit to it. They are not really a Bitcoin miner anymore. They do have Ethereum. You can get better performance for Ethereum through ETH-U, and they also have HPC, which you can get better coverage for through something like CoreWeave or Applied Digital, or honestly even CORZ at this point. So Bit Digital kind of seems like a moot point. In fact, I'll probably I'll keep covering it, but I'm not gonna focus on it very much going forward because I just don't see how it has any edge over any other companies or any other tickers that I could trade instead for that exact same type of exposure. So that's all. Bit Digital's kind of lost the plot for me as far as I'm concerned. Anyways, we've got our volume profile over here. We need to get above 266. We got to get above 266, and we got to stay above 232. We lose 232. We're going to come back down to this white line at $2. We get above 266, and we're going to slam into the 50-week and 100-week moving average right here at $3. $3 is about as high as we're going to go there unless we slice right through it. In which case the 200-week moving average is waiting right at 347, and then the equilibrium price for the weekly price action all the way up at about 380-ish. There's a lot in the way of Bit Digital. There's a lot in the way. If it slices right through all those things, we're going all the way up to $6-7. But if it fights and chops all the way up here, it'll probably fail at the equilibrium price, which it's struggled to get above before. Just like right, it came above it, immediately crashed down, above it, immediately crashed down, and then again in November it got above, held above, tried to fight, and then crashed back down. So yeah. We might see it do like a move above this thing anywhere between 30 and 60% above the price, maybe even 80% this time, because it's been getting bigger each time. So we might see this thing come up and do something like this, because this, last time we didn't even touch that ray on this run up. So maybe that isn't even the drawing anymore. Maybe it's this one. And we'll go ahead and lock that down, and we'll turn that orange. We'll make that dotted. Boop. All right. Yeah, maybe sometime around, who knows? I mean, if this doesn't happen immediately, because we're already going to be in July here in 2 weeks. If this doesn't happen immediately, we're waiting all the way until November to get that run up, and it might be $7. And keep that in mind. If we don't get a run here if we don't get a good solid run here in the next 4 weeks, we're waiting till November, basically, or late October at the earliest at that point. So get ready for maybe a wait. All right, let's move on to Bitfarms. Bitfarms is looking terrible. It's looking terrible. I'm actually going to move this one to the bottom of my list here going forward. Bitfarms has been disappointing. I might not even cover it anymore going forward. Until I see it cross over and this ends up being a double bottom. Like if this ends up being a double bottom and we go and we start crossing that 120 level there, then I'd be more interested. But like right now, this is just showing like the worst price action. It's just looking like it's coming down. It looks like it wants to retest this low down here at 68 cents, maybe even lower down at like 50 cents potentially, or maybe even retesting this full low down here at 38 cents. There's just not a lot of tailwinds for this company right now. It doesn't seem to be doing very well. It's getting, hitting lots of roadblocks. It's got like basically incompetent management. I don't know what to tell you. It's the only one that I'm watching right now, I believe, so far that is seeing weakening buying pressure on the BX trender. The RSI is down at 34. Now it could surprise us. It could surprise us, but that's a gamble as far as I'm concerned. It's a gamble, and I'm not interested in gambling. So yeah, we got to get above 120. Until it's above 120, I have zero interest. As far as I'm concerned, until it's above $1.20, it is going down to 50 cents or maybe even 38 cents. And that's all there is to it. Above 120, we're going to move to 170. And if we can conquer that little bump there, we can move to $2, but I really don't see it going any higher than that. All right, so I'm going to actually go ahead and drag this one right now. On the video here, I'm going to drag it all the way down, and I'm going to go beneath Soluna. I'm going to go beneath Soluna. So I'm not going to cover that one again until it goes above $2 or $1.20. And I'm going to draw a line on here right now. I'm going to draw it on there. I'm going to lock it down. I'm going to do a thing, and I'm going to go BITF above 120. All right. That's what we're going to see. Oh, I locked it down too soon because it's at 121. Let's make it exactly 120. Boom. There it is. Okay. And let's lock it back down. Okay, that's it. Not interested, not looking at it anymore. And in fact, I'm going to take CAN and do the same. Put it down here, and I'm not even putting an alert on that. We'll take a very brief look at it later, but that's it. Let's go to CIFR. All right, CIFR. How's CIFR doing? CIFR's not looking bad. We're breaking. We came out above this little thing. We're coming back into it, testing it from above. I don't hate this structure. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. Basically, let me draw this line a little differently here. As long as we're kind of holding this line here. Lock that down. As long as we're holding this, and these are like they developed. Like, yeah, we came down a little bit. I would expect it to maybe revisit this again. As long as it stays above this line right now, I'm really not too concerned about it. It is getting very close. It's got a lot of. It's at the shelf, right? If it hits this shelf of volume on the right there, we could fall all the way to 318. So basically, if we go anywhere beneath 362, 318 is where we're headed. If we can cross above. It's so close. If we can cross and hold above 385, we are going to hit the 200-week moving average at 466. If we can conquer that, we will likely find our way up to 519 to 548 very, very quickly. I do have a few CIFR warrants. I'm expecting a similar sort of pattern coming out of that. Maybe hit $1, maybe even come up to $1.50, since this one is a little more erratic than the stock itself. It does a bit higher highs and lower lows. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it kind of like I wouldn't even be thinking that the moving averages on this one matters as much. But yeah, I would be expecting it to like 150, like real fast, and then maybe crater back down to this line later on. I don't know. We'll see on that. Let's look at CORZ. How's CORZ doing? CORZ, we've got, yeah, it's still kind of following this line up here. We got the 221 week moving average that it's been kind of like respecting here. I'd like to see, yeah, the 9 is crossing above the 21. That's not bad. We got the 50 down here. That's way down at 974. It's above the moving averages, basically. We're above 50 on the RSI. We got a MACD cross up on the weekly. We got volume. The BX trender is showing buying pressure increasing. This is one I like. It's related to CoreWeave, which I've been trading actively lately, and it's been going pretty well there. I could see CORZ. It did struggle a little bit at this 1328, so I want to see it get above 1328 to have room up to about $16. I've been in and out of CORZ. Honestly, I've been buying call options for 2026 and selling them a few days later when it pops, because the miners have taught me this year that they're not going to hold a move. So every time I get every time I get a 50-60% pop on a call option, I should sell it and then wait a day or two and then rebuy it for the same price I bought it for originally again, and then like let it rinse and repeat over and over again, basically, is what I've been doing for the last couple weeks, and that's been going pretty well. Yeah, CORZ is looking strong. It looks strong. I don't really have anything bad to say about that. Let's look at the warrants real quick. Same thing, looking strong. The warrants, we could see, I don't like the tweezer looking there, but if we can get above $7 on this, yeah, it's gonna move up into like 9 or even 10. Let's take a look at WULF. How's WULF doing? WULF is WULF. It's got the 200-week moving average at 493. It's got to get above that. We are holding in this spike of volume here. We're holding in the spike of volume here that can go to 379. So as long as we're above 379, we're good. And as long as we get above 351, going forward. We'll hit the 200-week moving average at 493, and then if we conquer that, well, then there's not much in our way all the way up to about 650, maybe even $7. If we lose 371, we're coming all the way back down to about 232. That would suck. Yeah, that's it. And then once we conquer 645, we got the highs. We're coming for $8, $9, maybe even $10 on WULF. Let's take a look at HUT. How's HUT doing? HUT, same thing. RSI above 50, MACD cross up, buying pressure on the BX trender, just like all the other ones, except like the ones that are kind of being garbage. HUT had a bad week last week, down minus 5.87, right? 5.87%, yeah, for the week. We're still looking for that third angle. So so we had angle 1, then we had angle 2, and angle 3. We're still looking for angle 3. This line right here was where we rejected exactly. Tell me technicals don't work, and I'll show you all these charts that have drawn for weeks and weeks and weeks and how they just kind of respect lines. Yeah, right there. So we got to get above this white line. We get above this white line, we're going to run up to about 21.58. That's what's going to happen. If we lose and we come down to 1631, that's where our line in the sand is. We lose 1631, we are going to fall to below $13, maybe even down to $12.29. If we conquer this white line, we're going to hit 21.58 quick. We might even flash up to 23.32 where we run into a tiny bit of resistance, and then above that, if we can conquer that, 25, actually $25 is on the menu if we get above that 21.51 there, going forward for HUT. And that's all I got for you there. Let's look at HIVE. How's HIVE doing? HIVE is down only, let's see, for the week, it is down 6%, just like a lot of its peers. It is moving upward and is looking like it's making a flag beneath the 21-week moving average. If you're wondering what these orange and white bars are, they're bars that are the top 90th percentile of volume on the chart compared to other ones in the past here. Let's see, yeah, it's got to get just like above, what is it? It's hard to tell right here. It's hard to see on this one, but yeah, basically they are, the top 10% performers of volume on the chart. And you can see there's a lot of them here. White means it was moving down. Orange means it was moving up. White basically means if it gets above it, it's going to go higher. Orange, if it goes beneath it, it's going to go lower. So orange is caution if it goes beneath it. White is let's move, let's go. Basically, that's how I've got it on my chart. Anyways, yeah, 21-week moving average, we got to get above that. We get above the 21-week moving average, we got this big volume gap all the way up to the 50-day moving average of 265, which I think we will probably conquer and move up to about 3, maybe even 313 before we hit the 100-week moving average. And then the 200-week moving average is looming above at $4.05. I do think if we conquer the 21, we're going to move quickly up to about $3. If not, if we lose 176, we're coming back to test the lows at 135 for HIVE. Let's take a look at BTDR. How's BTDR doing? BTDR is making a nice little pattern there. I don't mind this at all. If we get above this white line, yeah, we're going to go up fast. We're going to go up We're going to go up really fast if we conquer this white line right here, like all the way up to like $19 in a hurry on BTDR. I'm watching that. If we lose 12.18, we're going to come all the way down to about $10 there on that one. So watch that very carefully. But some word of caution, the BX trender is showing a weakening of buying pressure. The RSI is back beneath 50. And if we take the MACD here, it is also showing like it is going flat. And it looks like it's getting ready to cross over to the downside. Now it could reignite and go higher because honestly, this falling wedge really didn't perform as well as I thought it would. I really thought that falling wedge was going to hit 19 easily. So we're looking for that really, really closely. If we lose this 50-week moving average, we are going to fall pretty hard on BTDR. And if we cross this white line here, we are very quickly going to find ourselves up at $19, maybe even as high as $21 or $22 on BTDR. We'll take a very quick look at Soluna. Still garbage. Down only 1% on the week. It's finding its equilibrium price down here in the 60-cent range. You can see the doji after doji for the last couple of weeks. Again, you're just waiting for this thing to absolutely pop. We could see a double bottom just like in Bit Farms, and that would take us back to about 215. And you know what? I'd still be negative on that position. So that's it. This thing is either going to $10 because a hedge fund got involved with it, or I'm letting it bleed to absolutely nothing. Or I will sell in November of this year for whatever value it has, because that's the end of the cycle and it's definitely going to zero afterwards. So yeah, November, whatever value it is, I'll sell it. I don't care. I'll just take that and maybe I'll, I don't know, pay for parking once. And if it goes to $10, I'll sell it. Basically is where I'm at. So can Can also, same sort of thing. It is finding its happy place down all the way down here at the bottom of the range. And if it were to fly up, I could see it hitting $1.76, which would be a pretty sick move, but I'm not betting on it. That sounds like gambling to me, so I'm not going to do it. Not interested. Now, let's talk about a play that I am watching right now very, very closely. Soxel. I'm watching Soxel very, very closely. Okay. You can ignore some of my notes and stuff on here. So let's go ahead and turn off my drawings for a second. So Soxel actually made a pretty sweet move off of this. I bought it down about 16 bucks and I sold it around 22, 23-ish, and I'm letting it come back down because this is a toppy candle right here. This is a very toppy candle. So it looks like it needs a week or two to cool off, maybe come back down to about 1680 or so. But at some point, I am expecting this thing to come up to about 27, maybe even $30 again very, very quickly, probably sometime maybe this summer. We'll see. It did a nice move up, made a flag, popped off of that flag, and now it's fading down again. If we go to the daily, yep, we got some loss of buying pressure here. We tried to go to the 200-day moving average, and we started rolling over. I would expect us to come back down to maybe 1846, maybe even 1765, and then start to bounce from there. Let's go ahead and look at the indicator. I told you it wasn't ready yet. It's not ready, but let's look at it just for funsies. All right, let me get that out of here. Yeah, so we got a nice cross up right here on that at $13 and been riding it up. This blue line is the average true range stop loss. We get beneath that, it's gonna look a little bad, and we could fall pretty hard if we get beneath that. So I'm watching that pretty closely, actually. We do have this big empty volume here that we got up to and got into that void a little bit and failed. So if we get back into this volume void, I'm going to go long and look for 27.55 on call options, like $30 call options for the end of the year, which I intend to hold for a short period of time. We do have a bit of an inverted head and shoulders playing, so if we get back above 22.59 there, we get back above that, we're going to 30 bucks basically is what's going to happen. So I'll be watching closely for that as well. But right now I'm seeing a little bit of weakness on the daily. If we go to the 3 days, again, a little bit of buying pressure weakness there. I would be expecting to see some kind of drop here based off of that alone. So I'm watching that very, very closely right now. And one of the things that's got me very interested in this trade is here. I'll show you what that is right now. Let me go down here. So it's SMH divided by, so SMH / SPY. This is semiconductors versus SPY, okay? How they're performing compared to SPY. And if I turn on my drawings, we had this line here and we broke out from it and retested it. This is why I got in, and then it popped. So now we're looking like we want to come back and retest the top of that move before we broke out and then continue to break out from there. So this, if you want to put this chart on your radar, this is the semiconductors versus SPY chart. And when this breaks out, that means semiconductors are breaking out comparatively to the S&P 500, meaning they're about to outperform the S&P 500. Okay. And let me draw a new line on here. So this line here, let me about right there and about right there. When this one crosses to the downside, that means that we are likely looking at semiconductors preparing to underperform the S&P 500. And that's why I got in. Another one that I've been watching is platinum. And you can see I had my line here. I bought this breakout here. I bought this breakout right here. Actually, I bought a little bit before this breakout, and I bought more after that breakout there. And I bought more now when we had that little drop off here the last few days. Okay, platinum. I'm looking at platinum to return to its highs back here. I'm looking forward to at least, so it's about to retest these. It crosses that. I'm looking for it to go up to about 146. It crosses 146. I'm looking for it to go to 170. It crosses 170. I'm looking at 188 or higher. I'm looking to hold this for a very, very long time. Platinum, I'm looking to hold for a while. So I got in just before the breakout. I bought more when the breakout took a breather. I bought more when it took another breather just now. Okay, so I'm watching platinum very closely. Silver is another one. SLV. I'm watching SLV very closely because SLV is wildly undermined and is highly usable in industrial purposes. So yeah, silver is there. And let me see. Do I have it on here? There is a. No. Okay, so this is another important one to know when silver is about to outperform. SLV divided by GLD, it's silver divided by gold, just like with the semiconductors. And if we go to, like, let me turn off my indicators real quick so you can see it. There we go. That's a daily. Let's do something. Let's do a weekly just so we have it like a little more smooth looking. So basically we've got a line here, right? and I'm a little early, I'd say. Yeah, I'm a little bit early. We got a line here. This is that line showing that silver's in a downtrend compared to gold. And we came up to that line. Now, once we cross this line, silver's going to quickly outperform gold real fast once we break that line. Now, we had that line, and then we had like this second one right here. I think this was the one I was watching. Yeah, this is the one I was watching right there. Boom, that one. That's it right there. And I need to make these white because white is my go time indicator color, and orange is my caution color. I don't use green because it's just too much everywhere. It's easier for me to see white in contrast to like all the other colors. Yeah, just boom, it popped above it, came back, tested it from above. And if we see resumption, silver's really going to outperform. So watch silver. Watch silver very carefully. Watch this SLV versus divided by GLD chart very closely for that silver outperformance. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio. If you're interested, check out the memberships page, where if you go to the stalagmite level, you'll get real-time trade posts for everything I trade, as well as shorts explaining those trades. Or if you just want to, be a part of the community, contribute a little bit, you can get the custom emojis and the badges for $4.99 a month there on the memberships page. We also go ahead and check out Capital Curiosities. That one's not going to cost you anything. If you go over there and watch a video from Trade Cave, please comment TC on the video so they know where you came from. And with that said, have a profitable day.